Hi, I'm Patty Carey of Patty's Patchwork, and I'd like to show you how to use my easy miter tool. You can sew perfect mitered corners quickly and easily every time. It is precisely engineered for accurate scant quarter-inch markings. Use it for mitered corners on square or rectangular quilts and blocks, like I've done with my solstice star pattern here. It's also perfect for lone star blocks and quilts, such as my carpenter star pattern. I used it for the diamonds and also for the mitered borders on this quilt as well. There are detailed instructions included with every template. So let's get started. So I have my quilt block cut and it measures 5.5 inches from edge to edge. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to trim the one edge of our border. So I have positioned my border strip so that the inner edge is at the top, and I've positioned the 45-degree line of my ruler on one of the lines on my cutting mat. And I've cut the first 45-degree angle. I am realigning it so that it's on a horizontal and a vertical line now, and I'm going to measure 5.25 inches. And I am going to position the ruler so that the horizontal line is on the 45 degree, and I'm going to cut the opposite 45-degree angle. Now that I've got my 4 pieces cut, this is where the magic happens. I take the tool, I place it in the inner angled edge of my mitered border, and using the hole that's drilled there, I mark the dot on each end of my inner edge of my border. And I'm going to do that on all 4 borders. I'm also going to mark on my quilt using the square end, the scant quarter-inch mark on the corners of the quilt as well, on all 4 corners. Now we're ready to add the border to the quilt, and it's a simple case of connecting the dot to the dot. And you'll notice there's 1/8 inch of quilt sticking out beyond the end. Do the same thing at the other end, the dot to the dot. And I'm going to sew from dot to dot, back stitching at each end. Now we're going to sew from dot to dot, securing the stitches at each end. I'll add the opposite border, and then pushing the ends aside, I can add the adjacent borders as well. Once I have all 4 borders sewn onto the quilt, it's time to sew the miters closed. Line up the mitered edges and the outer edges, and I sew from the outer edge to the dot and backstitch. It is better to stop 1 stitch before the dot than to go 1 stitch past the dot. Don't worry, it won't be a hole, it is just a stitch length. And there you have it, perfect mitered borders every time. The Easy Miter tool is available from your local quilt shop or from pattyspatchwork.com.